Hi there, Pilar. I see some great friends that are on Instagram. Thank you so much for being patient, and we are going to be rolling, I believe. No, it's still buffering. I am live. Okay. I cannot see us on Zoom. There we are. Yes, we have touchdown. Touchdown. Wow. Well, I'm going to get started. So many of you have been super patient. I want to say a big shout out to each and every one of you this Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. There is obviously something going on in the cosmos, but we are live in the shed with Sheree Franklin, and that is all that matters. Welcome, Sheree.
Thank you, Rose. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm much better. We were just chatting about how I've been fighting something physically, and I'm guessing maybe show of hands out there for others that are feeling exactly the same. It's tough, isn't it, these days?
Oh, it's past tough.
Yeah,
It's tough
yeah,
statement.
yeah. It is an understatement. Well, I am so glad to have this opportunity to share with everyone this evening a wonderful lady who has an incredible past that there's no way in a Facebook Live I could begin to do it justice. But I am going to say to everyone that follows womanscape.com that we've got a special detailed, really a feature article on this incredible change maker. She has reinvented, maybe can I say your life, who you are. You've
Where?
continued to discover over and over again many hidden gifts that Sheree possesses. And I think really that is true for all of us. Um, Sheree doesn't know I'm going to do this, so it's not a anything, plugging her on purpose in a way that's shameful. It's truly a book. I don't always read everything cover to cover that I write about. Sheree, this one I did. Um, yeah, truly. It's a wonderful book. For those of you that can see it, it's called Intuition, the Hidden Asset Everyone Should Know About. You really need to learn about what your hidden assets are. So, we're going to do a little bit of that tonight.
Okay.
Just in talking with Sheree, I'd love, Sheree, for you to just share a little bit about what it is that you do, because intuition is one of those words where people think, okay, what is that? Is it just a little voice? How do I know what it is? What is it that you do? And how do we know this?
What I do is I help people to trust their gut so they can make better decisions in less time with less stress. And I do this by teaching them to strengthen their intuition. Everybody has intuition, whether it's male or female, but it's learning how to strengthen that muscle. It's like any other muscle. The more you use it, the stronger you get. And if you don't use it or you ignore it, then it retreats from you. So you really have to develop that muscle enough where you are really working on testing that muscle all the time.
Can I ask you very quickly, Sherry? Sorry to interrupt. Can you try muting your phone? And I think perhaps that will do it. I'm getting a couple of messages
I
saying
know I didn't
on
want to
the
move it
side
away
there.
from, I'm going to move it away from me, okay?
Well, if
Because
you do, then we won't see you on Live. That's the only
oh,
thing.
okay. Oh,
We want to keep. I see some wonderful people out there. If you're able,
how do
there's a
we
little,
how do we
there's
mute?
a little. I know I hate all this, right? On the side of your phone, there is a little button, and you can push it to the side. Yes, on that top left, push it over to the side, and that will mute it.
Okay.
So, yeah, actually, you sound great already.
Okay, great. No,
Yep.
I didn't.
No, we
I
missed a little.
can hear it. Oh, I know what I can do. I can lower. No, I lowered
Or
the volume.
lower the volume all the way down so that we don't hear it. How about that?
Is that better?
Yeah, that's a little better.
A little better.
Yeah, not much we can do. You know what? Maybe you're supposed to have this echoing voice again
I,
in the universe that's going to make sure if you didn't hear Sherry the first time, you're going to catch it in the echo one or the next time after. Sorry to interrupt there. So Sherry, you're just sharing a little bit about what tuition is first, and then we can get back into your evolution maybe if that's all right.
well, with intuition, it really depends on how it presents to you. We're all unique special beings. So your intuition may present physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. And with me, I'm clairaudient, which is mean I hear the information. I hear like a little whisper. It might be a word, it might be a whole sentence, but it really just depends on you knowing your instrument, which is your body. When you know your instrument, I move my phone a little bit further away so that way
Yeah. The feedback is really a big bounce. So I'm telling everyone, I'm probably just going to cut it and go to Facebook
I
Live.
enough now. I'm
Yeah.
still I still have it pointed towards me, but I don't have it as close now. Is that better?
Is that no? Okay, I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to send people go to Facebook Live at Womanscape, and that's okay.
Okay.
They can find us there. We're giving it a try, and you know what? I never worry. I mean, we are brave enough to try all these new things, and I know for many young people, it's definitely something. They're just so fluid in it. You know, but I think for us, we're learning the ropes and we're doing our best to share as many with as many people. And that's okay. That's okay, Sheree.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Um,
let's focus because I want to focus on you and what it is that I'd love for you to share with people because it really is playing a role in my life in a bigger way than honestly I could never imagine. So I'm excited for you to share.
okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
it's this little voice. Tell me about this. Yeah.
well, everybody's different. So it really just depends on you knowing your instrument, which is your body. Your body really tells you everything that you need to know if you pay attention. But it's like so many other things in life. It's practicing really being present within your presence at all times.
Right.
Because we live in that busy, busy world. And it, of course, it changed a lot in this new reality that we're suddenly not running all over the place and realizing that we are going to be at home more. And I think there are blessings in the midst of every adversity. And
Yes.
so one of the things that I discovered is that my intuition got stronger in the midst of this process. I think, I started doing Zoom meditations. And I think that it became so clear because I didn't have even clearer because I didn't have all the hustle and bustle going on. It was
Right.
less time being stressed and multitasking and thinking about what I was going to do the next thing. So I think many people like me are also discovering that during this time that they haven't been so busy, that they're doing more reflection on their life and thinking about what they want to do moving forward.
Right, right. I think that's so, so true. Um, you know, and it's one thing because I think all of us, whether we consciously acknowledge to what extent intuition factors into how we live,
Right.
the decisions that we make, um, we all have it, right? We've all,
Right.
and then it's a question of knowing how to be more present within yourself to actualize it, to be able to use it as one of the tools that you talk about in your book, right?
Well, it's also not just hearing the intuition, it's
Yes.
also taking action.
Okay. So, how do we take? Yes. Okay.
It's like now, as you're tuning into what's going on, we
Mhm.
can't just sit there and just tune in. If your intuition is telling you, like in my case, do meditations.
Yes.
I knew nothing about Zoom when this whole thing came to me that this was my way to serve during the pandemic. And
Right.
suddenly, when I asked, how can I serve, and it came back to the meditations, and I've been a meditation teacher for a long time, so that wasn't a big shock,
Yeah.
but it became a bigger challenge in terms of adding this technology piece to it.
Right. Right.
So then I look up and I'm, doing Zoom, I'm having Zoom meetings, I'm doing Zoom presentations now.
Right.
And had I not been open to learning,
Yeah.
that journey wouldn't have been available to me. If I'd
Right.
said to myself, oh, I can't learn this, it's too much. And instead I was like, okay, come on, I got it.
Yeah. Well, and there's something about that. And I know anyone that's listening out there that's followed the Womanscape journey, it's been about being open to exploring and listening to those inclinations, those feelings, that sort of gut response to something where it moves you to do something if you allow yourself to go with it, right?
Well, I look at it like this, where intuition is concerned, you're either a volunteer or you're a draftee. A
Oh,
volunteer is open and receptive to the growth. A
right.
draftee is dragged through kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these are the people who say, I knew I shouldn't have taken that job. I knew this wasn't the right guy for me to date. I knew I shouldn't have gone that way home.
Yeah.
And so you have to test it and trust it. But
Yes.
see, that's really hard to do if you aren't comfortable, first of all, with trusting yourself.
Right.
And that's where the heart really becomes involved, because the heart's the first organ formed in the body. It's formed even before the brain is. So we have a
Mm,
feeling capacity before we have a thinking ability. So
right.
being aware of your feelings, monitoring yourself, knowing before you dip down or lapse in consciousness, knowing before you get into the depths of despair, knowing that you need to do something to pick yourself up. And
Right.
so it's really about, your life is almost like your own personal science experiment. You're going to be discovering who you are the rest of your life, all
Right.
the time. And you have to approach it, like I said, with a lot of joy, because what better project do you have to do? Life's a do it yourself project. They
Yes.
work on you.
I love that. I think that's a great way to see it. And I would add a couple of things to it. It's definitely a do it yourself. You've got to be brave enough. And also, to your point, relax enough into it that if you do something and you say, hey, I have a regret and it wasn't the way I should have gone, that you recognize it's evolution. It's everlasting. We are always, it's the constant, right? Change is the constant.
Well, it's about being comfortable with taking risks.
Right. I
You
think.
know, the only people who don't make any mistakes are those who don't take any risk.
Yeah.
And you have to get comfortable with the fact that if things don't go the way you plan, you pick yourself off, you dust yourself off, and you get up and go again.
Yeah.
And that's really what it amounts to now, because we're seeing so much transformation in the
Hmm.
midst of all this change that's going on the planet. And we need people to take leaps out in consciousness and try new things. We
Right.
need women to start more businesses. We
Yeah.
need women to network with other women and look at strategically how can we bind together to produce a product or produce a business. So we've got to take some chances now.
Yeah.
We've got
Yeah.
to.
I love that. And I've always heard that quote too, the most successful people have failed a lot,
Oh, definitely.
so it's definitely a way. So, I'd love to just backtrack. Before I do that, though, I want to encourage everyone. And my great assistant over here will help with this in sharing Sheree's website, and then also telling you and anyone watching out there, because I tend to have like a really wonderful audience of people that if they don't cue in tonight when we do these live, we're building. I'm noticing that it's getting more and more popular. And so I think we're putting something out there. I know I'm getting something from anyone I talk to. So I'm going to throw this out there that Sheree is doing a meditation tomorrow for all the Womenscape people that have come on, male, female. It's Womenscape, but it's everyone. It's changing the landscape of your life to see it as open. So if you would like to join us, you can shoot me an email at rose@womenscape.com. But I'm also, if it's okay with Sheree, can I offer that people reach out to you as well, Sheree, and say, hey, I'd like to join? It's about a half an hour. It's at 5 p.m. So it's in the early evening, hopefully at the end of day for people in the Northeast or on Eastern time. And then Central time is at 4 p.m. So 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. It's just for a special group. We're trying to keep it tight, but also just know if you're curious and you want to do it and you're nervous, you can leave your video off and just be present. This may be the first step that you take, knowing I want to know more. I want to get in touch with that side and I don't know how to do it. And Rose and Sheree are giving me a chance to do it. So I'm truly hoping that people take advantage of that. So we'll share the information on Womenscape for people. So I think we've already got that going. But I want to share, if you're okay with this, Sheree, because the beauty of Sheree is, again, you're going to be able to read the article that the feature on Sheree in September when we unveil it. Um, You have experienced intuition par none, I think, for me. I mean, can you quickly, do you mind sharing? And it's not because the Oprah name is in it, but it speaks to the power of what you knew in your gut when you were driving on Lakeshore Boulevard.
Well, at the time, Oprah was in her last year of her last season. And I'm driving and I heard a radio advertisement that Oprah was looking for her ultimate fan and ultimate fans. And I came home, Googled it, found information where to apply, and I did it. I didn't tell anybody I did it. That's one of the things about manifesting. You have to be careful who you share your dreams with, because once we share our dreams and people shoot us down, and all our doubts, fears, and insecurities come up. So I didn't tell anybody I applied, and I got a phone call from one of her producers one day, and I went through a lengthy interview, and they said at the end, "What is your dream?" That was the final question.
Wow.
And I told them my dream had been to meet the Aboriginal people, that I had fallen in love with them when I read a book called Mutant Message Down Under by Marlo Morgan many years ago. Well, the producer got quiet and she went and got someone else. And she came back on the phone and she said, "Do you mind going through the interview again?" And I went through the interview again and they ended the phone call with, "There is no guarantee with this phone call you'll be selected. That decision will be made at a later date and time." And even without knowing that I was going to be selected, I invited my girlfriend to go with me to the show. And later, when I found out, I was one of 300 people who were selected for the show, then we found out that Oprah was taking us all to Australia. So I get to Australia, and one of her producers pulls me aside and she says, "Are you Sheree?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "Well, I'll never forget you." And by then I knew 100,000 people had applied via email. And I said, "Why? What did I do?" She said, "You told us that you wanted to meet the Aboriginal people and you didn't know we were going to Australia." And so that was huge because not only did that result in me being able to go to Australia, but I was one of 12 women who were handpicked by Oprah to travel to the ancient ground of the Aboriginal people. And from the moment I found out I was going on the trip, I had started my own telepathic communication that I was doing with Aboriginal people, telling them I was coming and that I was sending them love and light. And then I get to meet the Aboriginal people, which was so special. Um, and they confirmed that they had gotten my information.
Okay.
So that's one of the things also I do in my meditations. I teach people to telepathically communicate with their hearts. So I find this just we're so much more powerful than we ever give ourselves credit for. And
Yes.
being able to sharpen that pencil and really become more aware of your instrument, your body,
Mhm.
it's everything.
It's life changing.
It is.
It's life changing. And so, again, I mean, this story, Sherry, I don't think I'll ever forget it. Having lived in Chicago and driven along the lake shore and known what Oprah meant to the town, but more importantly, that the power of this, it speaks to how real this power is. When it's grounded in a concrete story of someone taking action and following their intuition and then having the universe come back and meet them and open the door. There's something just incredibly magic, but real. And so I can't think of a better way for people to be invited in. And, anyone listening is also hearing the calm in your voice. You've got a very beautiful, reassuring way of just disarming and being open because I think for so many of us that are fearful right now, that are worried about jobs lost. And if you're out there and you're listening and your job is gone, maybe this is a first step. And what do you have to lose? Right? We're not promising a job.
Right.
Right?
I think it's about playing in that cosmic playground
Yes.
of, number one, knowing yourself,
Yes.
really knowing you, and believing that infinite opportunities are possible.
Right.
Because it amounts to the fact that in the midst of any cycle, there will always be people who achieve success in the midst of any cycle. And
Yes.
why shouldn't it be you?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very, very true. And I think, if it's nothing else, that this atmosphere has taught me too, that when everything seems to fall apart around you,
Mhm.
think of it as the ground being cleared for what is coming up new, right?
Well, there's never growth without upheaval. You
Yeah.
don't grow and everything's going do. You only
Very,
grow doing this. And that's the
yes.
lesson to learn because
Yes.
upheaval is never an easy period to go through. And everybody's experiencing something
Right.
right now where they're facing some type of loss.
Right.
And but how you act when things go wrong really determines how long before they'll be right again. And
Right.
it means a lot to be able to go through a period of this magnitude and still have that resiliency,
Yes.
that belief in self, that underlying force that's still pushing you on. Don't give up,
Yes.
keep trying.
Yes, yes. Well, I think that this is just terrific. Thank you so much tonight for sharing. I don't know if there's anything else that I've missed in this that you'd like to share before we meet tomorrow.
I think you covered everything.
Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, I'm doing a plug for sure this time as well on the power of storytelling. I continue to hear, and I know that Sherry's got hundreds of stories she could share about transformation, but this is something that we are doing in an upcoming podcast that will start or will launch on September 3rd this year. So we are taking the stories on Womanscape and we are lifting them off the pages, and we are trying to do what Sherry and I just did here, is have a conversation and invite people to listen to those transformative experiences, periods of upheaval or change or discovery of passion, and how we move to the next level and harness those things in positive ways. So thank you so much, Sherry. Please, anyone listening out there, share this with someone that you know might be able to use this, including yourself, of course. I'm going to ask that you go ahead and take a look at Sherry Franklin's pages. She's on Instagram. She's got a great Instagram feed and she does great little videos that you might really enjoy. I'm seeing you do more of those. Check out and subscribe to her Facebook page. If you aren't already on Womanscape's Facebook and social media, please do the same. And I just want to wish everyone a really great night, to stay in a peaceful place, do something good this evening. And I hope that we see you tomorrow.
Bye, Rose.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're so welcome. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye, Sherry. Good night, everyone. Have a great night.